Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a downfill top quilt from Featherstone Outdoors, known as the Moondance. So let's get started. Alright guys, so to get things started, first off I want to show the size of this thing. So right now it is in the stuff sack that it comes with. It's more of a relaxed fit because watch how much it compresses. You can compress this down very, very small. So this actually isn't a compression sack, it's more of a relaxed fit, meaning this can fit inside a very small backpack. So the first thing I want to do is take care of the specs, and I have them pulled up on my phone from Featherstone's website. So let me go down through some of the specs real quick for you guys. The fill power of this top quilt is 850 fill. It is a DownTech PFC free grade duck down. So it is really good quality down, and it packs very small. The temperature comfort rating for this is 36 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2 degrees Celsius. The temperature limit is 26 degrees Fahrenheit, which is -3 degrees Celsius. And the extreme temperature is -4 Fahrenheit, -20 Celsius. Now, I personally can tell you that this is not going to work at -20 degrees Celsius, so don't even think about it. The packed size is 13 by 4 inches, which is also known as 33 by 10 centimeters. The materials of the inner is a 10 denier nylon. The outer is a 10 denier DWR nylon, so the outer is DWR treated. The construction is boxed baffles, so it is not a sewn through construction. And the accessories are 2 pad straps, which are included at the very bottom of the pack in a stuff sack. Now I'm going to cover the sizes because there are 2 sizes of this top quilt. I'm going to cover the regular first, and then I'll cover the large. The regular length is 75.6 inches, 192 centimeters. The shoulder width, so up at your shoulders, we're at 59.3 inches, or 53.9 inches, sorry. That is 137 centimeters. The foot circumference, so down at the foot box area, we're 39.8 inches, which is 101 centimeters. And the recommended size for the height of the individual is between 5'2" and 5'10". Now moving on to the long and wide size, the length is 90.2 inches, 229 centimeters. The shoulder width, again, we're at 57.9 inches, which is 147 centimeters. The foot circumference down towards the foot box area is 41.7 inches, 106 centimeters, and the recommended user height is 5'11" or 6'9" inches. So that is all the specs I've got for you guys. There is quite a detailed listing on their website if you wish to have a look for yourself. Let's get this out of the stuff sack and have a look at it now. Alright, so opening up the stuff sack to the top quilt, it is a simple toggle and drawstring design. So we'll just go ahead and open that up and pull it right out of here. I will mention the colors of this top quilt are pretty interesting. We have a blaze orange on the inside, which I actually really like. And then we've got this black, almost really dark gray on the outside. You can actually invert this and totally turn it inside out if you want the orange on the outside and the gray on the inside. But be mindful that the inside material is not DWR treated. The outer shell fabric is DWR treated. And if you don't know what that means, it is basically water repellent. So this will help with a little bit of spray from water and condensation. So I'm going to loft this guy up. And while that's lofted up, we might as well talk about the pad straps. So down in the very bottom of this stuff sack, we then have another tiny little stuff sack. Inside of here, there are 2 identical pad straps. Now, me personally, I do not use these, so I'm not actually going to be showing them on a pad, as I only show things that I use. But I will show you that they are 2 individual pad straps, and they are quite useful. I have dabbled with them inside of the house, but I haven't taken them out on a trip. So what we've got here is basically a little plastic latch system. This strap goes into there, and then you can lock it down. And then there are 2 individual clasps. If I could just open this up real quick. It's quite a finicky system, to be honest. And these 2 plastic pieces correspond with the actual snaps on the back of the top quilt. And then you can adjust in how wide your sleeping pad is and basically keep it on the pad. Now, my thoughts with this is if you need to bring pad straps to keep the top quilt tucked in around because you're afraid of cold air coming in, it's probably best to just switch to a sleeping bag, to be totally honest. And that's why I do not use pad straps. So I'm going to get these out of the way, get this lofted up, and we'll have a closer look at the top quilt. All right, so now that I've got the top quilt lofted up, it literally only took about 60 seconds. I've gone ahead and flipped it upside down so we can see the back straps here. We can see the inside orange fabric. I will mention that the weight of this in the long size is 746 grams. I couldn't find the weight for the regular size, so I'm not sure if I just skipped over it and missed it, but that's the size and the weight for the large version. You're gonna have to search for the weight on the regular size. So looking at this at the very top, we do have one buckle up here, one down here, and then we do have another buckle down towards the foot end, followed by, I wanna say about a 16 to 20 inch length in zipper. And then the foot box area has a snap, followed with 2 drawstring closures, which means this entire top quilt can actually open up into a blanket. So let's get this opened up, very simple. I'll show you guys, just undo 1 snap, undo 2, undo 3, we'll undo the zipper, followed by that safety snap at the bottom there so it doesn't come undone in the middle of the sleep while you're in your hammock or on the ground in your tent. Undo the drawstring closures, and you guys can see we then have a very generous boxed baffled blanket out of down. So this is how I typically use it inside of a tent, and you guys can see how light that is. It's kind of catching the breeze out here. I love the interior color because this actually jumps out in the night. So if you do need to kind of see what you're doing in the middle of the night and you have a small headlamp on, this color really helps reflect a lot of light. And it just works as a beautiful, beautiful downfill blanket inside of a tent, inside of a hammock, if you're not in the cold seasons. But you can also close it up and use it in a little bit of the colder seasons as well. All right, so moving our way towards the head of the top quilt area, there is an additional snap at the very, very head end, so you can snap that right behind your neck when you're laying inside of it. Now keep in mind, this is upside down. It would normally be the other side over. So you do have a snap there. I want to say probably about 14 inches away from the last strap. That would be right behind your shoulder blades or your lower back area. And this will help keep it snugged up against the back of your neck, as well as a shock cord drawstring. So you could draw this all the way in and snap that up right behind your back. And it does have quite a large draft tube that will snug right up against your neck to really trap in a lot of warm air. I find myself doing that quite often, and I personally love using this in a hammock more so than on the ground. So I'm going to do this back up, and I'm actually going to crawl inside of it and show you guys some of the features with a body inside of it. All right, so reassembling the top quilt so I can crawl inside of it and show you guys some function. I'm just going to do the bottom snap up, crank these draw cords at the bottom nice and tight. This zipper is a YKK zipper, I will mention that. So we'll do this zipper up as well. Get that zipped up to the bottom clasp. I'll do that one up, and I will do the mid one up. I'm going to leave the top one open just for now. I'm going to flip it over and then crawl inside for you guys. So this is going to be probably a little awkward trying to get up on the table and getting inside of this thing. So kick my shoes off. And as I come up, I'm going to find my feet in that foot box area. So right now, I currently have the middle buckle totally open. I'm going to reach underneath my back and I'm going to snap it shut, like so. My feet are all the way down towards the foot box. I've probably got about 4 to 6 inches down there that I can feel. And now, I'm simply just going to flop it on top as if I were just laying kind of in the springtime or a warmish day. Now if it does get cold, like I said, you can reach behind your head. This movement takes a little bit of practice, I'm not going to lie. You want to get that hiked up right behind you and snap in the snap. Just like that. Once you get it snapped in, kind of reposition yourself, and then I can really crank in on this drawstring. Just like that. And be very nice and warm. So you guys can see there is quite a bit of loft on this. I am getting extremely warm right now already, even though I'm not even totally sealed up. And it just makes a really good, useful top quilt or blanket at the same time. All right, so hopefully that short demonstration of being inside of the top quilt was useful to some people. I know it's one thing to look at a product on the table, but it's totally a different perspective once you actually get inside of the product. I always find that more useful than a tabletop view. Now, coming back down to the foot box area, there are some tags down here, and I'm just kind of going over them. I've never actually read them until right now. There are basically a lot of the information that I've already covered is on here, but there are some additional pieces of information. It does say that it is filled with down tech, And it does confirm that the down is also treated with DWR. So not only the outer shell, but the internal down fill is DWR treated. And it has the weight for the down fill coming in at 16 ounces or 450 grams worth of 850 fill power of down. So coming in for a close look at some of these snaps. These are plastic. There are 3 of these located on the top quilt, and this is how you secure it on your backside. Okay, so coming down to the foot box area, we can have a detailed look at what's going on down here. We do have some webbing with some plastic snaps to help hold the zipper and the bottom of the quilt together. We then have 2 plastic toggles with some drawstring enclosed so you could tighten or loosen the foot box. We then have the zipper, which is approximately 14 inches long. It is a YKK zipper, giving you a nice foot box area. Moving up to the head end of the top quilt, you'll notice that there is a toggle here with some shock cord. That is to tighten it up around your shoulders and neck area. We then have 2 of the same plastic snaps as the foot box area. And then we have some Featherstone branding very nicely sewn into the top of the quilt. Alright, so now that we've had a pretty good look at the Moondance top quilt from Featherstone, what are my final thoughts with it? Now, obviously, I am a sleeping bag guy, more so than a top quilt guy, as I generally don't use this in cold weather. However, I have noticed lately in the mornings in my area, it being about 8 degrees Celsius, that this is still a little bit too warm. It is very, very lofty. It's got a lot of down inside of it, and it does keep me fairly warm. I like using it inside of a hammock, is where I usually use top quilts or down blankets. And all in all, I think it's a great product. Now, this is more of a budget top quilt, and I think they priced it pretty good. So US dollars, it is coming in at about $250, and I believe that's right around the $300 range for Canadians, which is where I am at, which is pretty much half price, because I've seen a lot of higher end top quilts and under quilts and, you know, all those products coming in with this value at about $600–700 in some cases, which is astronomical. So for this coming in at about $300 Canadian, I don't feel that it's actually too bad of a price. I love the interior color being a bright orange and the option to flip it inside out. So if you are out in hunting season or you really want to signal and be bright, you have the option to do that. But like I said earlier, keep in mind the inside shell is not DWR treated. However, the down inside is. So it's kind of a choice that you would have to make. The outside shell fabric, though, I do enjoy the color, it being very black as well, so it's not something that's in your face if you do want to be more of a muted color. And the options of using it as a top quilt or a big blanket is also really helpful, and you could even rig this up to be an under quilt with all those snaps underneath of it. We have the snaps on the bottom, some draw cordage at the top. There are all kinds of, you know, hanging points here that you could rig this up to effectively be an underquilt if you really needed to. So all in all, I think the Moondance top quilt is definitely a good option and a budget option in my opinion. So I'd be happy to hear what you guys think of it. Drop it down in the comment section and let me know what you think. Until next time, peace out guys, and I'll see you in the next video.